Good afternoon, welcome. It's Anna here, and today you are going to see the end result of my Carol Anna challenge that I have done now in March. It is me and Carol over at the Friendly Quail who has had a challenge that we have been working with. We have both been making a nature garden theme journal in our own style, but we both added the same things. And her book is so much different than mine, and I love it. You have to go and watch. If you haven't already, I will link her down below. We have a list of kind of prompts we were going to add. We were going to make a writing board, a Dutch door. We were going to add birds, mushrooms, garden gnome, a child, bees, dog, coin window, owl, squirrel, and stamps. And I forgot to cross out my coin window. So all of those things are in this book. This has been the most fun I've had in a long time, I can tell you. Let me show you instead of just talking. This is the journal I've made. It's a whimsical nature fun journal. Originally, this was a much smaller book. It still had the landscape size, but it was a smaller spine. Let's start by measuring it. It is 8.5 inches by 6 inches. And now the spine is a little over an inch and a quarter, but before it was half an inch. So I have made it a bit bigger, 3 times bigger actually. It has been restored inside and out, of course, as I usually do. Since I extended the spine, I have covered it in 2 different fabrics and then lace over it. I have made a little change to the front here with another label, but as you can see, the book itself is actually quite nature themed from the beginning. On the back I put on some labels and a stamp, and this book has no permanent closure. It has this wraparound out of twine and leaves, very nature themed, and also those little cute yellow crocheted flowers at the ends. So this just unwraps and you can put it away. I put a little mushroom there on the front as well, on the label. And yeah, it's a flat spine. I don't usually do flat spines, but this one ended up with one. It has 7 signatures that is sewn in with a 5-hole pamphlet stitch. It has a total of 140 pages. So, and it was made from a repurposed book, as you can see, and the book was originally published in 1949, so it's not very old, but it's quite pretty, I think. Let me show you what I have done. So the end papers are made out of scrapbooking paper in a quite neutral tones. This is the original first page of the journal, of the book, and I made it into a Dutch door, and that is a garden gate, and I thought it was quite suitable. And over here are some grass, and here it says that it was published in 1949. I have tea-dyed paper, of course, as usual. Here are a bit of the book guts, and I have put an eyelet in here, a green one. Here is a folio from a book about garden trees, and I extended them because that was a quite small book, and since this journal is landscape format, I have extended a lot of pages. So here I have extended it with some vintage grid paper, and up here I have stamped a little bumblebee. Here's some lined paper with red frame, and I love that. I love using different sizes and shapes of papers. Here is a piece of out of an old vintage book about flowers. In the center of the signature, this is an envelope that I have made, a gusseted envelope. I made it in my use it or lose it, and I have stamped on this side, and here I have stamped and put a label. I think that is quite interesting. And I have sewn it in and then glued it together. And inside is this. This is actually a piece of scrapbooking paper. And I thought it was a pretty journaling card, so I put it in there. Lots and lots of botanical images here. More of the book about trees, and it's extended with the grid paper. Here's some washi, actually. There's some shamrock on. This side of the tea-dyed paper is extended as well with this vintage card with chrysanthemums on them. And I made a little, tab up here of a label. It still hasn't gotten used to being glued in. I glued in the text block yesterday, so it will be more flexible soon. Down here is a little fussy cut. This is a page from the original text block. And here is the journaling board I made, a writing board. On this side, this is the back of a book, and this side is totally flat. And here I did a bit of collaging. It is since I put on some fussy cuts and so on, you can feel them. I have put 3 layers of Mod Podge on top of it, so it is nice and secure. But if you want to write, you could use this side up. But I love this, the yellow flowers. So that goes in the book as well. This is my first journaling board ever, and I'm quite pleased. This is also a page from the original text block. And here is a child and a dog. And I crossed that out of my list. On this page, this little thing flips out, and there are some bees and a little label. Here I made a little pocket with some squirrels on, the mushrooms. This is a stamp. And inside is a small journaling card. And here is the 1949 calendar. Since the book was originally published in 1949, I like to add a little calendar and a fussy cut or 2 and a label. And you can journal on the back side there. And there are some lovely botanical images. Some really grungy tea-dyed, coffee-dyed paper. Here's some ledger and a little fussy cut. Crocus. Crocus is in Swedish. I can't remember what the English name is, but I believe it's kind of the same. And a small bumblebee inside. And here is a little peekaboo hole with a bee. Lots of things to experience and find in this journal. This is a small folio in the center out of a geology book, and a small label up there as well. And on this side, the flip is extended with some lined tea-dyed paper that also flips down, and there is a small stamped mushroom. This is handmade stamp I purchased from a girl. Her shop is Skrivstilar on Etsy. She makes amazing rubber stamps, and I have lots of them. I don't know if she's active still, but I have bought lots of her creations during the years. This is a eco-dyed paper, and this is eco-dyed with roses from my own garden. Grows right outside the window, actually. A big bush. Some more botanical images, and here is a page that is extended with another page out of a botanical book. And this is a page from the original text block, and here is a small fussy cut with a hedgehog and mushrooms and a little toad. Just that you have a sip of water. So here's a small tea-dyed paper and some music. And here's a small collage with a little stamp, the cranes, and a Tim Holtz ephemera. And here you can see I have punched the edge of something, and when you flip it over, it's a small piece of a kind of a diary from March, and a little few bees on there. This is some other kind of ledger paper. Here's a piece of Tim Holtz vellum, and here is a page from another botanical calendar thing, and it's also about March. A small bird there, and this is connected to this lovely gentleman, which is Carl von Linné, who lived in the 17th century, and he is kind of the father of botany. He has named so many flowers and went on so many travels. He was a Swedish man. The rest of the vellum here, and here the ledger is extended with a small book about Swedish flowers. More of the music paper, and here is a pocket made out of some flowers, and this is a flower that is called Linnea, named after Carl von Linné, and this is a landscape flower of the place where I live. And inside it I have tucked in a few little things you can journal on. This is a small tag, and here is a little journaling card made out of a tarot card, so you can journal on those. More of the small tea-dyed paper, and here is a bit of a stamping, and here is a little tab made out of Tim Holtz acetate wings. Love the way that looks. On this page of the original text book, I have fussy-cut an owl and put there on top of a little label. And here is an envelope. I have punched out a circle with two little snails on, and you can tuck the flap of the envelope behind them. Inside is right now just a journaling card with some trees. You can journal on the back and put lots of stuff in here. And this is actually just hinged as a page, which I love to be able to do in this kind of landscape journal. Here's another one of the stamps from Skrivstilar, and that's just a fern. Absolutely love that one. Use it a lot. Here's another page from a 1958 book, and this is about tulips, as you can see. Lovely image there. You can journal on the back. Here's another ledger, and there on this little flip is a garden gnome and another label. So that's another thing I ticked off the list. Here are some birds, which I also checked off, and this is of course some Edith Holden. And not a ferret, weasel maybe. And on this flip is some small mushrooms, toadstools. Another botanical image, and more eco-dyed paper. And here another page from the original book, and I have placed a little fussy cut there. As I said, this book is packed full of things to experience, and I actually had to tell myself that back away from the book because I was having too much fun. Here's a little stamp with a butterfly on, that is sitting on top of a piece of the book guts. This is a little pocket with some bellies inside. You can journal on them, back of them. Some begonias, and this flips over and you can journal on both sides. Small stamp there with a tree, and this tab is made out of some stamps. Stamp and a stamp. Wink to Carol, because she does the same thing. Stamp and stamp. This is pages from a book I just recently made into a journal. Wayside and Wayside Flowers or something. And this is a page from there, and that is also a page, and I have extended them by sewing them together. This paper is dyed with dandelions, and I did a little stamping up there. Here is more of the Tim Holtz vellum. I love this, it's so pretty. This is actually some Japanese calligraphy paper, I believe. And I think it is. I bought a big bunch of it, and it's very nice quality. In the center here is another piece of Edith Holden, and this is from a birthday calendar thing, and I left the flaps here so you can journal all over and see the whole images. And those just folds up like that. When you have a landscape journal, you can use it in so many ways, and I love that. Here is my coin envelope. I put in a little purple butterfly, and I have actually dyed this with some ink to make it look more grungy, and put a little eyelet in it. And here's another one of the yellow crocheted flowers that were on the closure, and a small Tim Holtz metal plate that says happy. And those come off, of course. They are just attached by a bulb pin. Here's some more vellum. A bit more stamping here on the dandelion dyed papers. Here's another page. This is from a dictionary, and I have put some Tim Holtz collage paper on it with a bird. I love using different materials, and I have really been having fun in this journal and testing lots of new things. Once again, a page from that wildflower book, Wildflowers and Wayside, and that is also from the same book, and I extended them by sewing them together. On this page of the original book, I have used a Tim Holtz backdrop and a Tim Holtz transparency to make a pocket, and inside it is a little tag that I made, and I believe I showed this. I made this in a video. It's also Tim Holtz paper. Here is a little rabbit or hare ready to jump away. This is another one. This is a paper bag with lots of mushrooms and autumnal things on, and I have just hinged it to make it into a page in the book, and inside are a few things you can journal on. This little rådjur in Swedish, should have looked it up, like Bambi, no, deer maybe. And you can journal on the back, and this is a small tag made out of a flower book. And they go in there for now. Here are the old end papers of the book, and I did a bit of stamping down there. The leaf. Here I took an envelope that was all crinkled up, and I took this vintage botanical image and inked it up and glued them together. And that is a small tuck spot. And inside is a Stamperia tag, and this little fellow, which is also It's a small squirrel and chestnut, and this is also a tarot deck, I believe. But I sandpapered it and inked it up to make it look a bit older. And here's another botanical image, lovely. And some ledger, and in the middle, in the center, is a butterfly, which I have sewn in. I can't remember where I saw this idea, but I loved it, and I had a butterfly fussy cut that was so big, so I thought, why not put it in here? It could be fun. Here's a little fern, and that is a sticker actually. More pages, and here is also the old end papers of the book, and this is a small pocket that flips, and inside it is another Stamperia tag. Let's see if I can get it in here. Yes, I could. And that is fastened with some washi tape. Some tea-dyed paper. And this is some stationery with toadstools on. And more pages from the original book. And a small mushroom toadstool. And there is a little girl, and that is me when I was a kid. Standing there under the toadstool. Experiencing the magic of this book. And on this side is a little snail with his house on his back. Here are some pages from a Norden's Flora, which is a big book with many botanical images. And some grungy coffee-dyed paper. This is the rest of the Japanese calligraphy paper. This is huge. This is bigger than A3 size, so I cut it down. And here I did a bit of stamping as well. Here's another one of the extended pages from the book about wayside and wildflowers. And I have not sewn these because on this side there is a pocket. We made this in one of my use it or lose it, with the lovely bird on. And this is a genuine vintage collection card about garden, and a small journaling card with some botanical on it. And this is not extended. I thought I could leave some page for the new owner to extend. And here it is, another the rest of the grungy coffee dyed paper is extended with some lovely botanical images, and more of the Norden's Flora, this one with ferns, and the last page from the original book. And here I have fussy cut some images out of another book and glued them down and made a little specimen label. So that's it, all 140 pages of my nature notes themed journal. I hope you enjoyed this flip through, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up, like and subscribe as always. Let me know what you think. This was quite an unusual book for me to make, very much more whimsical than I'm used to, and I loved it actually. So let me know what you think. What did you like? Is there something you would have done different? Let me know down below. If you haven't checked out Carol's book yet, head over to her channel, because her book is totally different than mine. It has a lovely story and it is absolutely beautiful. I have learned so many tips and tricks and things from her. So head on over, the link is in the description. This is it for today. Have a great rest of your week, everybody. Bye.